All right, I'm back for another video. And you wanna know what I love? I love the fact that I am like showing up like this today, making all this. Is the most videos I've made in one day. So I'm just like, I didn't even get ready really for it. Actually, no, I didn't. This is what I threw on to go bring Austin to school and go run some errands, and then came back and was like, you know what? This is me. This is fully transparent, vulnerable me right here. How you doing? How you doing? Anyways. Oh, sorry, I hate that. It's like nails on a chalkboard. Anyway, so I know in my first video, I believe that I addressed, oh, my sweet little baby Marlin. She's so precious. She's getting so old. She just, you know, when your doggies like sit there and they move over their face and they hold their nose, they're just so cute. I love dogs. I love dogs. I love animals so much. I tend to tell myself I'm like a Snow White, you know. I just call in the animals, yes, and then the children. It sounds weird, but I do. I love animals and I love children and I love God and I love you. I'm just a lover, like so. If for y'all that don't know me, because I am making this a platform that anybody can see, so the whole world, you know, for y'all that don't know me, I am a huge lover. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I am an empath. I am emotional. I will love you very hard. That's why I've gotten hurt so much in my life. But you know what? You know, I used to sit there and walk around and say, oh my gosh, it's a curse. It's a curse that I love this hard. It's a curse that I just, you know what I mean? And then I thought to myself, what? Why? Why did I believe that? Why did I allow that thought to play in my mind? So many years, almost my entire life, thinking that it was not a good thing that I loved that hard because I was getting hurt. No, if anything, you know, being able to love this hard in this day and age, that's a miracle. And to be able to love this hard, like I'm going to toot my own horn, which so should you, by the way. I used to sit here and I never wanted to honor myself. I never wanted to really say I was beautiful or any of those things because I wanted to be humble. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like I am the last person to be conceited. I don't want the attention on me. I don't like, no. But I feel like I developed, and I know that there's so many else out there that also feel that same way. And I just want to just tell you, like, no, when people compliment you and say you are beautiful or you're gorgeous, you can sit there and say, thank you. Thank you for recognizing me. Thank you for honoring me. I appreciate that. You don't have to turn them away. Say, no, it's okay. You know, or I don't know. That just came up for a reason. Somebody needed to hear that because I am guilty of doing that for pretty much my whole life. And the thought was because I didn't want others to think that I was conceited, and probably because I was surrounded by a lot of people who were conceited, and I didn't like that trait. I thought it was very, I don't know, I just didn't like the energy of it, and I never wanted people to compare me to that. So I downplayed my light. I downplayed my gifts. I wanted to not be seen, and I've learned. I mean, clearly, I'm learning. I'm allowing myself to be seen right now and in a position where like no makeup, no, you know, I'm just out here doing it, you know. Gosh, I would never, I wouldn't say never, but this is huge for me. This is really huge. So anyway, somebody needed to hear that. I'm going to try to stay on topic because as you're going to learn about me, I talk in circles and I just, oh, sometimes my brain feels like a squirrel and I'm just like, okay, stay on point. And I've asked God, like, because God really wants me to be able to share wisdom with you all. And it's funny because I'm like, God, but I'm really not the best speaker. Like, you know, I remember being in school and in college and having, God forbid, you had to do a project and you had to stand up in front of the whole class. Oh my gosh. I would be pit sweating, all the things, like mortified, so scared, you know? So please bear with me. I feel like over time, I know, because God already told me, just take the first steps. Take the first steps. You are going to reach the viewers that I need you to reach, and it is going to grow, and you're going to get stronger, and you are going to just be able to light up the world and with your gifts, and I am for it. So I'm just going to take baby steps, and I've only been back on social media for like a month now, so I continue to have to give myself grace because I'm a perfectionist. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not here yet. And then, I'm doing something wrong. And it's like, no, you're not doing anything wrong. Just it takes time, and it takes, wisdom and knowledge and to learn. And I'm for it. I love to learn. I really do. I think that's why I love history and science. Those are my two favorite subjects. Because I find everything so interesting, and I love to deep dive into things, and just to really find my own perspective of something. I don't ever want to just, when somebody tells me something, to just be like, okay, that's the truth. Oh God, no. Like, that's dangerous. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm just going to give you my perspective, and that's what I feel God wants us to do as well. Is do your own research, come to your own understanding, come to your own conclusion of it. And at the end of the day, whether somebody else agrees with it or not, that's your truth. That's your reality. That's what you're accepting in your life, and that's that. So, because really at the end of the day, that is the truth. I mean, there's so many times where, have you ever sat there and tried to argue with somebody to get them to see your side of things, and they just will not? They're like, because some people just can't, that they're so stuck on this specific thing that you're just wasting your energy and exhausting yourself trying to get them to understand. And neither or are wrong. You know what I mean? It's just people are living in their own reality and believing in their own truth. And when we can learn to accept that a little bit more, it's that's where a lot of healing can take place. So anyways, I'm getting this stuff, whatever God, just whatever comes out today is meant to come out. And I pray to God, I pray that it reaches whomever it is supposed to reach today, God. Yes, thank you so much. Amen. I just burped up my vitamins from this morning. Not good. I don't like that. Okay, so anyways, what do I need to talk about? Okay, so like I was saying in one of the other videos, like one of my honored gifts that God has given me is a bridge between heaven and earth, right? So I developed this gift, or I recognized this gift back in, what was it? I think 2023. I had my first encounter with someone, one of my really good friends, and who had lost his mother, and his mom came through. Did she come through? And I was able to deliver a message to him. And what I was actually talking about last night and asking God is what I hope that over time I'll be able to kind of channel it better, because right now it just kind of happens at random, which I still think is beautiful. But let me tell you, and I just recently, the other day, I got a message from one of my best friends, from her grandfather. Totally bizarre how it happened. So, and I was able to deliver a message. So I'm just sharing some cool things with you about myself that I've developed throughout my healing journey. And so I am just hoping that I can sit here and really channel this in, because I just know how much this can help people. So many people who wish that they could talk to their loved one again, are just to be able to receive a message. And what's really cool is that when I'm connecting with through the other side and connecting with these individuals, I hope that you understand, I can feel the energy so strongly, so immensely, that and the love that they have for you, that it will physically come out of me. And it is the most profound, incredible, sacred experience. And I'm just, again, so honored. So that is something that I'm going to, if someone comes through in the collective where there's an ancestor or a passed over loved one that needs to deliver a message, I want to create the video. Like I'm going to be, just know I'm going to be obedient and I'm going to share, because I feel like, wow, what a gift. What a gift that I get to sit there and deliver a message to you. You know what I mean? So that's one of them. And the other thing is that so God walked me through this journey, since 2020, of really having to face my shadow, like really go into to do the shadow work, where I literally, when I tell you, I had to go back from the moment of I was born, honestly, conception. No joke. Like, I know I could sound bizarre and crazy to some people, but I know a lot of you are going to resonate and you're going to be like, oh girl, I went through it too. But I went from conception to today, and I had to, and God wanted me to isolate. I know a lot of you, that's another reason why I got off social media. A lot of people didn't understand. They didn't, and when you don't understand things, you fear it or you judge it, which, I give grace to all those that, didn't understand, when I had to walk away, or surrender things. But I knew that God was leading me on a path that was sacred. And I knew at the end of it, the difference I was going to be able to make. And I was willing to do whatever I had to do to walk the path that God was leading me on. So again, I'm so sorry to anybody that, I may have offended or didn't, like I really am. It was never my intention for that. But I knew that I was here to serve a huge purpose. So anyways, now here I am going to go bouncing all over the place. What was I going to say? Darn it. See, and this is the other thing. I'll get like channel messages and then I'm just like get distracted and then they disappear. Okay. What was I trying to say? Back in 2020, okay, going through the shadow work. So one of the things that Sow to Seed Wellness that I want to be able to provide for people and is to be able to sit there and I want to hold your hand. Like I will hold your hand and we will go back into whatever experience, whatever trauma and walk with you through it. Like, I hope that makes sense. For example, okay, there was a memory that I went back to, one of the traumatic experience of me being an infant. And I was very sick when I was a baby. I cried all the time. Bless my mom and my grandfather who had the patience for me. But I cried a lot. And it's a lot to deal with a crying baby all the time who is dealing with stomach problems, and you have 2 other kids and a husband and a job and all those things. So I completely, give grace. But this was something that was clearly a trauma and experience that I needed to go back and heal. And what was so beautiful, because what was weird wasn't weird, it was beautiful. God has a unique design for each one of us in our healing journey. And with mine, he started out from the present and went back. So by the time that I ended with really mastering my shadow work and alchemizing the trauma and what I experienced and releasing and cutting those cords and breaking those generational curses, I was when I was a baby. So it's crazy how it went, like the timeline. And it took a long time. I mean, when I say it began starting in 2020 and, healing's always going to be there. We're never going to be fully healed. We're just going to get better at it. You know what I mean? But anyways, so there was one experience where I actually was able to, I guess you would say it's hypnosis, or it's just, I don't know. I don't really use the terms or the labels. Like, it's just so much feeling and energy for me that it's hard for me to articulate. I think that's the word. But I was able to meditate and go back to the time where I was crying in the crib and there was nobody there. And I could feel the energy as an infant, just wanting to be held, wanting to be nurtured, and experiencing that aloneness, and feeling, that scared, like nobody's there for me. I'm crying out and no one's there. And so I remember me walking into the room as the person today and looking down at myself in the crib. And it was so profound. And I mean, when I tell you it was real, like I was there. And I picked myself up and I nurtured me. I cuddled me. I gave me the love that I needed in that moment. And when I tell you, it was such an incredible sacred experience, that I knew. And when I woke up from or just snapped out of the meditation, I went through the whole process. God said, this is what I want you to do. You have learned now, you've gone through so many of these different traumatic experiences in your life, and we need to alchemize it. We need to sit there and go back, and it's scary. It's scary to face yourself. It was the hardest thing. Delivery, pregnancy, all the things, no. Facing yourself and having to go back and really deal with your trauma and really own up to certain things and how you've treated yourself for so many years and the lack of self-love and all the things, I'm telling, at least for me, it's my perspective, so much harder. It's why I think so many people are unhealed. So many people are walking around unhealed because that's how freaking hard it is. But I want to make it easier because I want to raise the vibration of this planet. I want to make a difference, and I want you to be free. I remember, before I understood all of what was happening to me, and I faced it alone, a lot of it alone. So many people didn't even know what I was going through. They didn't know what was going on in my brain when I'm sitting here hanging out with people, and they had no idea the work that I was doing, literally just sitting there, and what God was doing through me, until it got to the point where I was like, okay, I have to go into hermit mode now. Like, the rest needs to be, But anyways, I just came up with this chant that came out of nowhere. It was, set my people free. We can make it if we try. Set my people free. You and I. And it was along with my ancestors, my divine ancestors. And then knowing, oh my gosh, this is what I want to be able to provide for people. And imagine to be able to just have a safe space where you can talk to, like just sit down, we can have coffee, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And to just have somebody to listen to you, to acknowledge you, to allow yourself to be seen, to be heard, to be loved on, for me to be able to give you what you needed in that moment, but more importantly, teaching you how to give yourself what you needed in that moment. Because I'm telling you what, it changed my life. It changed my life. And it was so hard and so difficult. And, I will get further into like the details of the things, because I promised you guys, and I'm very like an honest person. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I have no shame. Seriously, you can ask me anything, especially through my journey and through my healing, anything that you want, because I have nothing to hide. I literally have nothing to hide. And I know about karma, and the thing is that I am all about integrity. I can't stand cowardness. I can't stand people who lie, especially straight to your face. I don't like that. So you don't ever have to worry about that with me. And I don't know what rumors, people like to talk, but people who know me, that I'm going to show up and I'm going to love you unconditionally. And it's crazy too. When you look back at people and places and things, and you're just like, gosh, I just really loved them unconditionally. Like, I look back and just think of all the stuff that happened, and yet they still just paint this image of you, but then you sit there and you're doing the healing work, right? And then you understand why they're doing it. And then you can give them grace, and then you can give them peace, and then you can forgive them easily, and then you can sit there, well, I wouldn't say easily, but you have a better understanding of how to understand that it is just a projection. It is just the unhealed wounds that they're experiencing. And, you know, and it's really helped me. I know I'm going all over the place, but that is something throughout my healing journey that I think it's so amazing and beautiful when we can go through a hardship, or we can be hurt by someone, like really betrayed by someone, or just disappointed, or unmet expectation, whatever it is, and to be able to put yourself in their shoes, to think back, okay, what do you think they've experienced in their waking life? What are they experiencing every day? What do you think their childhood was like? Why do you think that they did what they did? Sometimes it is just because people are just, I don't know, I'm not going to say a cuss word, but they're just whatever, you know, like they don't give a crap, you know. But then there are people who really are good people, but they've just experienced a lot of trauma. And I'm not giving anybody an excuse, because believe me, your girl has experienced a lot of trauma, and I don't give an excuse to it. You know, I'm not saying I am perfect by any means. I am not perfect. I have made plenty of mistakes, and I am the first one to own up to it. You want to ask me a question? Ask me, you know, what have you done? I'll be honest. I will tell you, I will be the first one to sit there and try to right my wrong, because I don't like that. I don't like that. I you know. And so anyways, that's something that's really, really has changed my life. And I believe that I've kind of always been that way. But I know, like, since I started my own healing journey and my healing practice, that it's really helped me to let go and to not take things so personally, to be like, it is not about me. It's not. And then I can pray. Then I can pray for them and say, God, I pray for their healing, because I know that that's what this is. And, you know, and in the Bible, God says we are not up against flesh and blood. We're against the dark forces. And for me, what I feel is that the dark energy, the lower vibration, you know, that's what we're up against, you know. And of course, there's the spiritual realm, and we're up against things like that. We've got a lot of things that can attack us here in this world. And that's why I think it's so important for us to start loving each other unconditionally. And more so important, the way that we can do that is to find our healing. We have to heal. We have to heal. It's time. It's really time. And there's so many people who have already started. Y'all are amazing. I want to encourage you to keep going. There's so many, and there's people that are far beyond where I'm at. And y'all are an inspiration. You truly are. Keep going, because people are watching, and we see it, and we appreciate it so much. And, you know, but it is time. I'm ready. I'm ready for people to just, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of what's going on in the world. I just hate that, you know, there's so many people walking around with so much trauma and hurt and pain and discomfort, but they put on the face, just like I did, you know. And I hope that I can be an inspiration to others to just be like, it's okay to be you. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. It's okay to face yourself, you know. And I want everybody to know something too. Like, I think that it's important to share this, because I know that a lot of times I think that people like see certain wellness businesses or just people, and, you know, thinking like they have it all together, you know, like, oh, they must not face so much emotion and like tears and just suffering and things like that. And I just want to be the first one. I'm speaking for myself. As much healing work that I've done, as much dedication, as many things I have on my tool belt that I have discovered and I have worked hard to achieve, I still face days that I am in the shadows. And that's the thing. And it's okay to be there. I want to remind you that it is okay to be in the shadows, because we need dark and light. We need that polarity. We need that, because if we don't experience the dark, we would never appreciate the light, you know. So I used to sit there and go in a spiral, because I would be on this bandwagon of joy and so positive, like, yes, I'm finally here. Oh my gosh, it feels so good. amazing, and like on the high, and like just you're dancing and life is good, and then all of a sudden, boom, life hits you. Life comes full circle. Sometimes the joy would like it last for 3 days. I'm like, well, that's it. My gosh, I thought this was it, and then back down. And in those moments, if I'm being honest with you, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they're dark. They can be really dark. And I'm going to create a whole nother video about this because it is something that God has put on my heart that I want to share with people. To let them know that they are not alone and they're not crazy and they don't need to beat themselves up for having these certain thoughts or having these patterns, you know. Because it's not easy. And I feel like there's so many, God has put it on my heart that I feel that there's so many others out there that are experiencing that. And I know that for me, for the longest time, I didn't want to share any of it with anybody. I was embarrassed. I was afraid that people would think of me in a different light or a different way. But now I'm like, you know what? No, I know who I am. And I know that I go through these dips and stuff, but I know who I am. And I know that they're just dips. And I know that I will overcome them. And so anyways, I feel like I've made a lot of videos today. I hope that these messages reach you in a positive light. I pray that they bring you comfort, joy, all the good things that God has to offer. And telling you, I've been making these videos, so I get a lot of like paranormal things that happen. I've had it since my entire life. I mean, we grew up in Louisiana, so that tells you anything. Anyways, I'm not a stranger to having spirits. That's another one of my gifts. So I am able to help spirits to transfer to the other side, to let them know that it's okay and work with them, through them, all the things. I know that people are like, what? She's insane. She's lost it. God, what is this Mary? Like, I remember, you know, before she got on social media, it was Bible thumper, it was church, it was this, it was that, and she would never even pick up a deck of cards. What? What is happening? What happened to her? She's into Reiki? Like, what did you know what I mean? I know that there's so many of you that probably have questions and are probably so confused. And honestly, might not be too happy. I don't know. But all I know is that throughout this journey, I'm going to explain myself. I'm going to teach you, if you want to learn, how I got here, what you can do, and just really be a testimony. God wants me to share my story. God wants me to be a light, a testimony, and that it is going to help heal. And so, you know, again, I know that many of you are like, what is Sow to Seed Wellness? And I just want to wrap this up. I know it's about 30 minutes. Sow to Seed Wellness. So what came to me when I was in meditation one day was all about the planting of seeds, right? And what type of harvest do we want to reap? And so I know that people would be like, well, isn't it like the opposite? Like not sow to seed, you know? And for a little bit, I questioned it, but God kept putting it on my heart that it's our actions that are planting the seeds. So what we sow, what we do, are planting the seeds for what we're going to harvest. I hope that makes sense. So it's you know, our actions and our intentions, what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, who we want to be, how we show up in the world, what we decide to do. Every time that we have an action, or we speak, even our words, everything is planting seeds. And we have to remember what type of seeds do we want to harvest at the end of the day? Do we want to plant seeds that when times get tough, when the sun comes out, like it says in the Bible, that it just gets scorched and withers and dies? It produces no fruit. I remember when I first started all of this, I don't know if you guys remember, but seeking abundant fruit. See, God's had this on my heart for so long, that this is my mission and purpose. And for so long, I didn't feel worthy of it. I didn't want to answer the call because I wanted to stay small. I wanted to stay not seen. I wanted to hide because of my childhood and growing up and feeling insignificant and, you know, dealing with, gosh, that'll be a whole nother video, God, of why I, you know, have been so insecure and it's hard for me to look in the mirror and all of these things. You know, why I've allowed myself to be mistreated, because, you know, you that's what you, when you feel like that's what you deserve and that's what you're worth, that's what you're going to choose. You know, so I want to teach that as well. I want, you know, there's so much good to come from this, and I really hope that you stick it out. I hope that you follow me, and this isn't even about like getting a bunch of numbers. I don't, you know, I'm going to speak it out and say that I'm going to be known worldwide. I'm going to speak that out and I'm going to believe that. But I want everybody to know that this isn't about the numbers or the followers or the things. Like, I truly just want to reach the people that need my messages need to be reached. And I believe that God is going to do that and is going to open the doors and going to send you my way. And I just hope that you start this journey, you know, you stay on this journey with me, because I know that God is just getting started with me. You know, I figured out my self-love and my self-worth when I turned, what was it? My 33rd birthday. And I want to share that with you one day. That was a huge pivotal moment in my life. Oh my gosh. Like, I thought that 2020, so 2020 was the rabbit hole. And I know so many of you, like, during the pandemic, we had all that time on our hands and God was like, hello, I'm about to get you to go all down depth, okay, to figure out the truth here. And I remember so much in the beginning feeling so like, I just kept praying, God, this is all new to me. This is confusing. Everything that I thought I knew and everything that I learned growing up and what I believed is now all like coming, just, I don't know how to explain it. Just like, I was shocked and I was scared at first. And I said, God, I've always thought that we were supposed to stay away from this, or that this wasn't the way that you wanted things. And all I remembered I continued to say was, God, please guard me. I never want to dishonor you. You are above all. God is number one in my life, and he will forever be. God is number one. If you're going to question that, or you are going to try to get me, you can't. You just can't, okay? And the thing is that you could have me burned to a stake, okay? Like getting ready to light it on fire, which has happened in another life. It's okay. It's okay. And you would say, I will not light this. If you denounce your love for God and you claim me, I would be like, light her up, baby. Light her up. Yeah, light her up, because there's nothing. It doesn't matter how many trials, how many betrayals, how many heartaches. I will never blame God. I will never blame God, because it is not God. It is not God. It's the lower vibrational. It's just the way man, you know, the things that we have developed and created, and the people in power that have wanted to just press their thumbs on us and get us to, you know, just be in, you know, under their control. No, not anymore. We're going to rise, baby. We're going to rise, and we're going to do it together. We're going to do it together, okay? Because I'm over it. I don't know about y'all, but I've been over it. I'm just like, okay, all right. Well, if I have to get back on social media, and to be quite honest with you, if I'm being really honest, I really don't like it. I mean, it's great for things, right? It's great to be able to see, like, given. When I got back on and I saw all your beautiful faces, and just like, again, where everybody's at in life and those things, like, it meant, like, it really just lit my soul up. And I was so happy. I'm like, yes, God. So good. But I also think that there comes with a lot of challenges and a lot of downfalls, and it's comparison, right? We compare ourselves to other people and where they're at on their journey, or what they look like, or what they've achieved, and it's hard not to. We are human. So there's that, and especially with the younger generation, my gosh, like Victoria's Secret model, like, you don't have to be that. Like, we're still dealing with that. You know, I know so many of us, you know, when we were in school trying to paint ourselves to be this perfect, image and, all those things. But anyways, and then also too, time away from, being present. And that's something like, I have to continue to remind myself is like, I don't, I have to be mindful. Like, it's like, I know I want to like create videos every day and I want to be able to post that and stuff, but it takes a lot of time to make these videos. And I don't usually always have the time. I know that people are like, well, what do you do all day? Trust me. You can ask my partner. I don't sit still, okay? But this is a priority, and it is something that means a whole lot to me, and I know that this is finally, I'm doing it. Finally, God's like, okay, there you are. Thank you. I only had to sit here and make you go through all of this for you to finally be like, okay, God, okay, fine, I'll do it, even though I don't want to do it, but that's how you know you're supposed to do it. That's how you know you're supposed to do it. When it makes you uncomfortable, when you're really like, no. And like, for me, because I'm a big empath. I am a light worker. I'm a starseed. I'm an earth angel, like literally an earth angel. And I'm not, and now I can say that confidently, like, and not feel like I'm being conceited. You know what I mean? Like, no, I've seen it. When I turned 33, I developed my third set of wings, and it was profound, and I will definitely share that in another video. I have so many videos. See, I have content. And but holy guacamole, yes. And but I want to like own it. I'm gonna own it and be like, yes, I am powerful. I am kind. I am walking unconditional love. I know what I can bring to the table. I know what type of friend I am. I know what type of lover I am. I know what type of child I am. And I know whose child I am. And I know who I am now. And I'm going to walk it, breathe it, live it. And not every day is going to be easy. And I'm still going to face the darkness. But I'm going to, every time, rise above it. Every time. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer than others. But I will, no matter what, I will get to that other side, and I'll be stronger for it. And we're going to do that together, because that's what it's about. Community is important, and, not everybody has time, like, to get together. And I do feel that getting together in the physical is very important as well. But I at least want to be able to get on here and please, like, something else I noticed on social media is that, like, there's not a lot of engagement. Like, we post about things and we're asking for engagement, but then we don't really follow through with that engagement. And, like, so I want to be mindful myself. And again, I know that it's hard. It's like, it's hard to sit there and go back and comment on everybody's stuff, like, especially with people who, are on YouTube, which I'm going to be posting this on YouTube because it's way too long. It's almost an hour. But, like, you got 1,000 comments, like, not expected to sit there, and comment all of that back, but hopefully you get my point. Like, I definitely want to just try, like, something I do, for instance, when somebody follows me, I'll go and I will sit there and go to their page and I'll like a few of their posts to honor them, to acknowledge, like, hey, like, I see you, thank you for following me, I want to give that love right back. And I do that with TikTok as well. And that's not to sit here and gain more followers or anything like that. It's just to recognize that person. Like, wow, okay, cool. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, I want to be able to really encourage more people to do that, because it does make a difference. You have no idea what people are walking through. And this is something that I have lived by, because I know. Like, I love Robin Williams, okay? Robin Williams was one of my favorite actors, and nobody would have known that he was as depressed as he was, and that he went through so much turmoil in his mind. And because he was hilarious, he made everybody laugh. And I think that, I know I took on that role to make a lot of people laugh, to be just the life, like, oh, but nobody knows when they go home and they're by themselves what they're really experiencing, And so I am grateful that was me. to be able to understand how to treat people, because even strangers on the street, like, if God prompts you to say, tell someone that they look beautiful that day, or to open the door for them, like for me, whenever I go somewhere and somebody's wearing a name tag, I always want to call them by name. And it's funny because sometimes people react like, oh, does this person know me? But it's crazy that so many times they look confused, like they haven't been acknowledged before. And so I love doing that. That's something that I started a very long time ago, where I'm like, you're not a waitress or a waiter. Like, what's your name? Thank you to you, and you're not just a person that checks me out at the grocery store or the bank teller. Like, hello, I'm going to honor you. And so anyways, but because again, there's so many people that, you gotta understand, they might not ever receive a hug or love. They might not have any friends. They might be going through money problems, or, in this day and age, we're all experiencing something. And if we can sit here and just start being a light, and just to choose unconditional love, light, and truth, everything would start to change. We would so be living, like, I truly believe that we can have heaven on earth. I really do. And I've learned so much. There's not everything that I believe in the Bible. I used to say word for word, and I know so many people might ridicule me, or maybe even not even want to follow me, because of that statement. But coming from somebody who, I read the Bible, I studied the Bible, I did all of this, and remember what I said, that God, I kept praying and praying. I said, God, do not allow me to go astray. Do not lead me down the wrong path. And this is what he opened up for me. So I'm going to believe what it is that God has shown me. And time and time and time again, it took me a whole year to finally be like, okay, this is my truth. This is the truth that God's showing me. So we'll get more into that. I'm already at 42 minutes, but I just the whole point that to wrap up what I was just talking about is to remember to treat others the way that you would want to be treated. Like, there's things like that. The Bible's beautiful. The Bible is spoken in parables and stories, and I believe in the disciples. I believe in Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary, and I believe those type of stories. I believe full-heartedly that really existed. But what I understand now is that the Bible technically should be like this big, stacked tall. Our Bible's this big. What's been taken out? Why has it been taken out? Who took it out? Go down that rabbit hole and do the research yourself, because it is profound and it's changed my life completely. And I look back and I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry to those that I was just like, and I give myself grace, because my intentions were always pure. I'm like, I know my relationship that I have with God, and who doesn't want that for the people that they love and they know, of course. I'm like, no. But then God told me, it's not your job. It's not your job to force it, because they're on their own journey. It's your job to live by example. Just be you. Just live your truth. And people will ask. People will question. People will say, what has she got that I don't? Or what light does she carry within her that I'm craving, that I feel it strongly? What is that? And then I can, but God, So anyways, this has been fantastic. I have spent, I don't even know how long, because I created other videos before all of this, but I'm going to get to posting. I hope that if you do make it over to, this will be on YouTube now, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it brought you an opportunity to get to know me better, or just get an update on things. And again, there's more to come, way more to come. But if you finished this, like the whole 45 minutes, please, again, leave it in the comments so I can honor you and recognize you, because, that's freaking amazing. Like, I feel so special and so honored. Like, that's awesome. So anyways, I'm sending you all so much love. You are not alone. Stay strong. know I'm giving you an energetic hug. I'm always wanting the best for you. I'm praying for you. Let's light this world up, like in a good way, like with God's light. I'm like, oh gosh, be mindful of what you say nowadays. Jesus, you get my point. Anyways, I love you all. Thank you for your time, your energy, and your support, your encouragement, all the things. I'm so grateful that you're here. I know that God has you here for a reason. I really do. And gosh, do I just want to love. I seriously do. It's just like sometimes I'm just like, ah! I have so much love to give. And I know that so many people need it. So it's like, okay, well, I have an endless supply. So let's go. Anyways, all right. I'm done now. Bye.